Well, to make this first example of how we can generate a new application through an image, I already have an image of a blog prepared for you, of an application already finished in Python. It's actually an example that comes within Openshift, which I have modified a little to be able to use it during the course. I have it uploaded to Docker Hub, and here you can see that it's called Apasoft blog. Of course, you can use other images if you want, but to make it simple, I recommend that you make this one, so that you can do everything I do during the video. So remember that it's called Apasoft/blog. You will see that it's very simple. It's an example of a blog, and the only thing we are going to do is using it for our project. The command that we are going to launch to create our new application is the OC new app command. The new app command is what will allow us to generate a lot of components that will make much easier for us to create the applications with which we are working. And in this case, what we have to specify is the image. We simply put it like this, Apasoft/blog. We don't have to add anything else. It will take care of doing everything necessary. But well, if we launch this command, the first thing it will do is check in if Apasoft/blog is an image that you already have preloaded. That is, that you already have within your internal repository. And if it doesn't, it will look for the default repository, which is Docker Hub. So if I launch it, you will be able to verify that this will now do a series of things. First of all, it will tell us that a container of a certain age has been found within Docker Hub. Then it gives us this information. This information is relative to an example that already comes with Openshift. It's a description. We can see that it's an image that can be used within Python 3.5, but for now we are not interested in this. The interesting thing for us are the resources that have been created for us. When we used new app command, first we created the image stream. Remember that the image string is nothing more than a pointer to a specific image that has been created. So we see that here it says that an image stream has been created called blog. Exactly the same as the application, because the application is called, if I don't give it a name, like this. You see that the name it put at the end is the name of the image. Then it has created a deployment for us. It has created a service for us, and by default, it has not created a route because, well, it's not normal to create routes just like that, unless the application is a front. Then you have to decide if you want to create it or not. And I can choose to use it because it's a route I'm going to follow. Because maybe this application, it's a front end, so I want to have it. I run it and we see that now it has already created the route for me. Let's review a little of the things it has done. To begin with, if I put here OC_get_is, the image stream shows us that it has created an image called blog, that it has been put into the internal Openshift repository and that it's already working, as you can see about a minute ago. Of course, I can see the description. If I write OC describe is image stream blog, here I can find very interesting information about the image stream. You see that it tells me what its name is, what namespace it's in, the labels, etc. And let's say that the most interesting thing is here. Do you see that it has tags? When we talk about images in a later section, I will tell you in more detail everything about the tags and what these pointers are like. But well, now you see that I have a single tag called latest, and that is pointing to another blog, which in the end is pointing to an entry that was created recently, which is a Docker image that I have downloaded from our Docker URL, the one that I have given you. In fact, I'm going to clean up here for a moment. I can use here an OC_get_images. What happens is that here it's going to show us all the images that it has loaded, which will result in something quite long. Right now, I'm not interested in all of this. There are many that are pointing to registry.quiet.io, that is, two internal repositories of the own Openshift. But if I put this command, something like oc get images and filter it by blog, I can check that the image appears. Here you see it with all the coding, etc. As I told you, we are always going to work through the image stream with which we are building this application, but underneath we are going to have a normal and ordinary Docker image. But well, as I say, when we see the image stream section, you will see it in much more detail. For now, try to think that this is just another object, that it's the usual image within Kubernetes, because here it will be image stream, which will have the image below. Then, of course, I created the deploy. If I do a get deploy here, in addition to the ones I already had previously, it has created a deploy for me, a deploy called blog. If I use oc get svc, here I will also have created my service called blog. Do you see that it also called it exactly the same? And of course I will have a root that will also be called blog, and that, as you see, is pointing as always to an URL that is typical of the root, with the name of the application, the namespace, and the app CCR testing. Remember that we also learned how to put a URL. But, well, the interesting thing is that it has displayed all the objects without having to go first on deploying, then the service, then the root, the image stream, etc. I'm going to copy this for a second and go to a browser to try it. I'm going to create a new tab here, and what I'm going to put here is HTTP. I'm going to put HTTP because if I put HTTPS, it works. I copy the URL, launch it, and if everything is correct, you see that it puts me here example blog for Openshift. We even get the pod we are using, in fact. If I go to the command line and write oc get pods here, I can verify that the pod you put is this one. The blog is here, which is the same one as this on this other side. It seems to be working for me within my cluster. Well, as you see, with just one command, new app has generated all the necessary components to be able to create a project from scratch. In the following video, we are going to see this in web mode.